7 o'clock.
Be a short.
Hey, I'm Nicole Mansky. Time with the Speed Rip, and on this Labor Day, we are letting it rip down the strip in Indy for the U.S. Nationals in the NHRA. We had some scary moments earlier today in early eliminations. Pro stock car in the far lane, that's Ron Krischer. Watch when Krischer's car gets loose, slides into the other lane, bursts into flames. The team still doesn't know exactly why this has happened, but Krischer is okay. And for the complete U.S. National results, all you got to do is log on to speedtv.com. Chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup. The championship is down to just one more race. Saturday night in Richmond. 10 will move on. The rest of them left to play spoiler. Where will Casey Kane fall? After last night's win in California, Kane sits just 30 points behind 10th place Jeff Burton, just 32 behind the 9th place Mark Martin. Tonight on Speed, don't miss the Lost Drive-In, Black Moon Rising.
Welcome to California. The rush is on.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
With just 2 races left to qualify for the championship chase, the top 11 know points are more precious than gold. And so is fuel. Some finish tonight short on both.
Where's out of gas, Jimmy?
Missing California, but joining us tonight, Jeremy Mayfield. Don't be misled, his season is not over. The action starts now. Welcome to Inside Nextel Cup.
Hi there, happy holiday. Welcome to Inside Nextel Cup. I'm Dave Despain. We've got the Sony HD 500 in the spotlight for California Speedway, and we're emphasizing rookie orientation here on the panel. Actually, David Stremmy's been on the show before, but not as a panel member. Welcome to the driver of the Coors Light car.
Thanks for having me on here.
Nice to have you here. J.J. Yaley, Interstate Batteries car for Joe Gibbs Racing. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Michael Waltrip. You can get these guys dialed in pretty quickly to the goings-on of Inside Nextel Cup. Can you not?
Well, we're supposed to celebrate Labor Day by not working, but we're working, so I'm already confused.
Yeah, and after the weekend with the Napa car, probably a little frustrated too, huh?
My arms are tired. I did a whole lot of steering and a whole lot of hanging on, and Tommy and the boys got it tuned up at the end. But man, we've been running better than normal. We've been running better than we have all year, and last night was a disappointment. We
setback, yeah.
Kind of crappy.
Let's talk about the California trip. It means NASCAR kind of rubbing shoulders with Hollywood. I'd like to hear from each of you. Is this just another weekend at the races, or is it something special going out there?
I thought it was. I was looking forward to the outside of the track. They did a lot there at California Speedway, and it was a little different. But for the most part, it's nice to go to the West Coast, except when we come back here. I'm lacking a little sleep.
A little sleep. You've been out selling late models this morning. How about you?
I was just glad the fans showed up. You know, from the Busch race, it was pretty scarce up in the grandstands, but the fans showed up. It was pretty hot outside, and you know, the racetrack seems like it's changed a lot from what it was in the spring. It seemed rougher to me and didn't have near the grip, so I spent a lot of time sliding around. I'm sure everyone else was too.
You were going out there looking for some good food, you said. Did you find any?
Yeah, I did, and I got my hair cut, and what else did I do? Well, not much. I like going to California just because it's something different. You know, it's just something that is a little bit of a change of pace for us. The atmosphere around the event itself, and then the racing. While I'm sure the end result was a guy that drove away from everybody, the racing at that racetrack is so cool to watch from my seat, because you go in a corner and people just hunt them a line. You know, it's like let's go in a different direction than the guy ahead of me and see what happens, and it's fun to see these cars running right out next to that wall.
We're going to fire it up and go racing. 250 laps at the relatively flat 2-mile speedway, California Speedway. Green flag, how hot was it? I guess right at 100 degrees when they dropped the rag. That's pretty smoking.
But it's a dry heat, you know.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I didn't think.
I didn't either. I was happy.
Not in the car.
Not compared to Daytona in July.
Yeah, definitely.
Got the hot seat in a hurry for Robbie Gordon. He cuts a tire.
There was a talk that he and Bill Elliott, driver of the number 00 Burger King car, had some contact for some reason or another, and that cut Robbie's tire.
That might have been what caused the cut. That was a near miss for some guys in the back. The track patterned after Michigan, is it the same as Michigan?
I don't think so. I mean, it's different through the corners, just all around. I mean, I know we run a whole different setup. And my first time ever going to California, they said, oh, it's like Michigan. We had tested there. Went to California. I said, this place isn't nowhere near it. So
Nothing like Michigan.
California's like a great big short track to me.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to. Michigan, you have a super speedway mentality somewhat, and at California, it seems like you go there thinking about a short track.
That's interesting. We're going to check out Dale Jr.'s onboard next for a couple of reasons. One, Jr. was sort of in the frame and at the front of the field all night long. And two, I want to get the guys' reaction to the glare as we race from daylight into darkness. That's pretty ugly.
It gives you a great excuse if you run into someone, though.
yeah, I noticed. I mean, it wasn't as bad. They have a bunch of palm trees down the backstretch, and once it was getting set and kind of you would get up against the wall in the backstretch, you couldn't see. I mean, you'd be able to see, but I know it shaded real early in 3 and 4. I thought.
Well, thankfully, NASCAR gave us the 8th man right off the bat. Sometimes they wait until all the drivers complain about not being able to see. They give us that immediately, so you know, you have the oil and all the rubber on the windshield with that glare. It's definitely horrible.
How long does it last? Is it a 5-minute phenomenon or a half hour?
Oh, it's from 5 o'clock when they start till about 7. You deal with it.
You're dealing with it.
You deal with it in different. And you know, one thing that's cool when you first start racing, it's 10, 15 laps in. It's not bothering you yet, but you know it's coming, and so you're going. You know, every lap you think, when's it going to get bad? And there's a point in time for 10 or 15 minutes, maybe 30, 40 laps. Sometimes it's crazy.
I told my spotter, Mike Kalnoff, I said, hey, when we were under caution, just really let me know where the safety workers are because it was so bad. They had blowers out and stuff, and I didn't want to hit anybody.
Can't see that stuff, yeah. En route to the Nextel Cup point lead.
Did you just say you didn't want to hit anybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know where you're going with that.
From last week when I run over a crew guy?
Oh, well, now wait a minute. Let's not give away the joke. Matt Kenseth takes over the Nextel Cup point lead, which has belonged to Jimmy Johnson forever. En route, he had an exciting moment. There's something about Kenseth and Gordon this year. Check this out. Jeff passing.
Wow.
Matt.
Jeff must needed to get over a little bit.
Here's the Nextel fan scan audio replay.
What the hell was that? I'll go have a word with him. Next time that happens, Bob, it's going to be the biggest wreck you ever damn seen. I don't really care.
Emotions.
I feel that's not over yet either.
Well, you see, to me, that was just Jeff. He overestimated his ability to stick, and when he got out there to the edge of where he needed to turn, he couldn't, and so he hoped Matt would give him a break. And
did I read into that next time there's going to be a big wreck that he gave him some slack this time that he might not get the next time? Or?
Everybody says that stuff. Man, it don't matter.
Don't
Yeah,
take
you'll
it too
see people.
seriously, huh?
I remember Jeff Gordon got in a fight with Dale Jarrett at Watkins Glen one time, and he'll say, if you ever do that again, it's going to be bad. You know, it's like,
He was looking up at it.
yeah.
I'm going to have a piece of you.
Yeah, it's funny.
We need a commercial break at that point. When we come back, the pole sitter employing some fancy wheel work to keep the blue deuce out of the fence here. And gridlock on pit road, leaving the new driver of the 19 with some crumpled sheet metal. We'll be right back with more.
Inside Nextel Cup is presented by Nextel. Get closer to the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series with Nextel only for the sprint. Brought to you in part by Waste Management. From everyday collection to environmental protection, think green, think waste management. By Z-Max, performance you can feel. And by Parts Plus, America's family of auto parts stores and service centers.
California Speedway went to Kurt Busch, eliminated from chase contention after crashing at Bristol. Rebounds for a series best 5th Bud Pole of the year. And we're going to pick up the action now with a couple of good moments for the Blue Deuce, beginning with him taking the lead early in the race. He had surrendered it, and here takes it back, racing with Denny Hamlin, who was pretty good for a while early.
You know, this is crazy. He sits on the pole, he gets a lead early. You'd think everything's going to be normal for him, but it goes bad in a hurry.
It did not go well, although there was a very nice opportunity for him to show off.
Check him out. He's in this circle there.
Watch his hands.
He's all handsy and whatnot.
I'm loose.
That's a pretty good save there.
Yeah, but you see that just about every lap. I mean, somebody's out of control at California.
It's so rough right there in the middle of the racetrack, too, man. If you're not pointing straight, you're immediately going to lose grip.
You get to be dirt tracking a lot. Here's Jeff Gordon taking the lead, also from Hamlin. No surprise to see Gordon run well at California. His record there is pretty good. Before the race, they asked him, are you racing Casey Kane? All the focus, obviously, on the chase. He said, no, I'm not racing Casey Kane. We're here to get the best we can get out of the car. That's what you do every week, right?
Right.
I mean, how much do you guys think about, you know, who you got to beat and points and all the rest of that?
You can't even race for points. You just go out there, race to run good and win the race. I mean, points come along with a good finish.
Yeah.
But what happens is you say, I'm not racing Casey Kane. How's Casey Kane running?
Yeah.
You can say all that you want, but it's human nature. You got to wonder what the guys you're racing are doing. You want to do all you can do, but while you're doing all you can do, has anybody seen that 9 car? Is he still running good? Or
it'd be nice to know he was in the pits, wouldn't it? Yeah. Got a series of pit road problems coming up next. We're going to start with the crew cam on the helmet of Martin Truex Jr.'s Jackman, because it kind of captures how crazy this was.
well, that's a normal
He's
pit
spinning
stop.
around.
It's just nutty.
Well,
wow.
up until he left without the left front wheel.
But I mean, what I'm saying is, it's just chaos, and it's amazing when one leaves with everything it was supposed to have on it.
Yeah.
They did a good recovery there, too.
Yeah, they did.
More trouble, JJ?
Right here, it looked like the 19 when he was coming in didn't know where his pit stall was at. He started coming in late, a 12 got in the back. I was actually right behind him, and it didn't
Look
work
at
out
the
so good for Jeremy.
Look at the Jackman. He don't know what to do. There's no car for him to jack.
Edwards and Biffle, teammates, with a near miss late in the race. I don't think they actually made any contact. We hear a lot about the problems getting on and off pit road. I'd like to get a rookie perspective on that. You never made a pit stop when you were a USAC dirt track driver. What's the hardest thing to learn about that whole chaos of getting in and getting out?
You know, for California, it's surprising because that's some of the biggest pit stalls we have in all the racetracks we get to go to. You know, the biggest thing is you just have to get in. You have to get square for your guys to get in there and get the work done. If you get in too hot, you slide too far, it's very difficult for your front tire changers to get in there. You're just going to cost yourself time.
Plus you're trying to get every little thing, because that's the easiest to pass is on pit road.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get all you can on there, and you know, you just got to be careful.
We'll see an example of how trying to get all you can got the eventual winner in trouble last night. Your Inside Nextel Cup regulars, Kenny Schrader and Brian Vickers, 23rd and 41st, respectively. We're going to start with Vickers, and he kind of co-stars with Mr. Yaley in our next clip. See if you can pick which color is Vickers. That would be him on the inside.
He's got hair product on his car.
He does indeed. And Yaley in the middle and Sadler alongside, and he gets the spot. And then how about Gordon? What were you guys thinking when he was gone by 6 seconds at one point in the race?
I didn't know about it.
That just shows a lot of how the track changes, because I've seen a lot of cars that weren't that good in the sun. They become better later on, and I know my car got better as the sun went down.
I assume you could see the Garnier Fructis car coming up along your inside there. That color was hard to miss.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time racing with them early on there, and it just seemed like they really lost handle on their car from the get-go. You know, they might have had the car that got better when the sun came out, or the sun went down, but unfortunately they didn't make it that far.
He didn't make it that far, as we'll see in a moment. First, though, we need a commercial break. We'll do that and come back on the other side. Question: what's missing from this picture? Our guest, David Stremme, will fill in the details. And if the 9 got busted for speeding here, what about the 8? We'll be right back with more. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Inside Nextel Cup. We'll get our first highlight look at the eventual winner. How about Casey Kane? Qualifies 9th on Friday night, wins the Busch race on Saturday night, comes back and closes the deal on Sunday night with the Cup victory. Not a bad weekend. Here he is going to the front for the first time.
Plus, he's cute as a button. Did you see him walking around Saturday night with that snuggle uniform on?
No. No, I wasn't paying that much attention.
I wanted to hug him.
I'll tell you, he's doing what he has to do to try to get in the chase there.
Here's the aforementioned departure of Vickers.
And he made a huge mess on the back straightaway. Holy cow. You couldn't see anything because of the glare, but there was parts and pieces and fenders.
A lot of stuff to miss.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you bend up the sheet metal, you mentioned it's a short track, but it's a pretty fast short track. You don't want to get the arrow out of whack there, do you?
No, when I say short track, it just seems like you fly down in the corner at Cali and let off and run the corner and then go. Whereas it feels you have a short track mentality, but you have to remember 210 mile an hour into the corner. Aerodynamics is a huge part of what you do.
Pretty fast short.
You want to make sure you have all your fenders on.
Yeah, I would think. Next bit of Nextel fan scan audio replay. All too familiar for the Jeff Gordon fans. They've heard this dance before. Give a listen.
It isn't tight. I don't know what it is. Just all over the place. It's trying to cool it down and see what happens. Something about this place when it starts to cool down, boy, it changes in a big way. 3 and 4 is not the same turn as it was.
So the obvious, the track changing from daylight to dark. Tell us how each of you did in terms of staying ahead of that and anticipating how it would change.
Well, I had a lot of other problems to deal with, which we'll see here in a little while. But
that's a big issue for you.
You know, my car I thought did get better, but we worked on it quite a bit throughout the run. So, but I noticed a lot of guys that would be moving around. You know, like I said, when the sun was out, they were really good, and then later on, they weren't so good.
How about the 18?
I definitely needed the shade. With the sun out, the car was it was like everyone else, just sliding around, very uncomfortable out there on the racetrack. And then, you know, Steve Addington, the guys did a real good job, kept making a bunch of changes, got the car really good. It was just, it was a scary drive. I mean, you're going 210 mile an hour, you're afraid to turn the wheel. It's not a good feeling.
Did you have to hang on tighter in the daylight or the dark?
I was consistent. I looked like I didn't know what I was doing from the time they said go till they said stop.
Sometimes the cynics question NASCAR debris cautions, especially if they don't see the debris on TV. This clip stars another of our panel members, and I'm reasonably certain that they needed this debris caution. Yellow is out. Based on the video, we can safely assume there was a left rear wheel out there somewhere.
Yeah, we were, the Coors Light Dodge, it wasn't really vibration, it was just making noise, and I kept telling them, I said, something's going to go wrong here. Caution come out, and I said, I'm telling you, something's broke or going to fall off, and sure enough, left rear come off, and then that kind of added to our problems we had. We had to fix the studs and all kinds of stuff, and then, you know, we were needing a caution to try to work on it some more, and I ended up coming in, and then the caution come out, so I went down another lap, so.
Bad.
Yeah, just went horrible.
A spiral, a downward spiral.
You know, you just need to, everybody just needs to let this debris, where's debris caught, you know, racing's racing. So what if there's a little bit of debris and they throw a caution?
Yeah.
Switches things up.
Don't worry about it.
I don't want to see everybody, I don't want to see anybody lap the field. If they look like it's getting ready to happen and I run the show, I believe I might just throw me a caution.
Some of us like those green flag pit stops, so that's
We had one of those.
Well, that's the
just
point.
needed one.
Yeah.
Casey Kane's California win, not without adversity. We'll have a look at what happened to the 9 car. Cuddly little guy that he is. Gets a penalty for entering pit road too fast. And the speeding ticket penalty is to go to the tail end of the longest line. Jeff Gordon was behind him at the time, and here's his observation about the violator.
I wonder, man, I tell you what, I've been running 200 over, and he's pulling away.
Well, he obviously thought Casey was speeding. I know, Michael, you guys say this system is infallible, but if Kane was speeding, what about Junior?
There's not enough information to make that decision. What if Junior sped after Kane pulled off? And what if, you know, Junior wasn't speeding and then when Casey left, he sped? There's too many questions to be answered. It's infallible. Let it go. What is wrong with everybody?
We're all just trying to stir up trouble. We're just trying to get you
You know
riled
what you
up.
are? You're a media type. You media types, you want to have, there's got to be something wrong. It all has to be bad.
Absolutely. There's got to be something to talk about.
I'm with you,
Otherwise-
Dave. I'm with you. Why didn't he get the speeding ticket?
Well, they said he was speeding on the way in. Do the broadcast guys know that?
I think all of us at one point, we've been around somebody, we're like, how is that guy not getting caught speeding? And I got caught, you know.
Yeah.
He was pulling away from me. So.
Yeah, we don't know. But you don't know where you got caught at or how.
Yeah.
It's just a black and white, red and green. You go just a little bit too fast in one part and then slow down, he pulls away from you, then you're busted. You're like, he's pulling away. How'd that happen?
It goes back, like I said, you're trying to get every little thing out of pit road.
Yeah, that was my point about Kane trying there. He got it back. We'll see how. But first, we need to take a commercial break. On the other side,
Can we see Casey in that snuggle uniform?
I think we will. Critics of California Speedway take note. 3 wide for the lead. And we'll talk about the 2-tire pit stops that were helpful to the front runners. We will also remind the Casey Kane fans that you can own this picture of the week. Go to the Inside Nextel Cup page, speedtv.com, email picture on the subject line. 1 entry per email address, please. And yes, we do check that. We'll be right back. Your opinion of the $20,000 fine for Carl Edwards after he retaliated against Dale Jr. after Jr. spun him in the Michigan Busch race. 60% of you thought that was not a sufficient penalty. 15% said it was too harsh. A quarter of those responding said NASCAR got it just right. You suppose if that had been Kurt Busch or Robbie Gordon instead of Jr., the poll results would have been any different? Nah, probably not. That's just idle speculation. We're going to move on to the California race. So far, yeah, there you go. So far, we have seen Junior, Jeff Gordon, Matt Kenseth, Denny Hamlin, the Busch brothers, and Casey Kane all looking pretty good. 2 of that group now have a little bit of a difference of opinion. It's kind of a lesson in teammate love. 4-time champion, helping his second-year teammate to learn the nuances of big-time stock car racing. Gordon and Kyle Busch. Whoa! And up the hill he goes.
And I guess we're going to hear some commentary about this from
Jeff Gordon explains what was happening there.
Pass the message along that I'm racing him the same way he races everybody else out here, and he better. That was a lesson, is what that was. He needs to learn from it.
Wow.
So does Kyle drive everybody else the way Jeff drove him right there? Anybody want to?
That just looked like racing to me. I don't understand why everybody gets so dramatic about everything.
That's what I think too.
People race me like that. Do you race? You race people like that?
What
you
are you
ran
talking
over a
about,
guy
race
last
people
week.
like that? What was that supposed to mean? We're not supposed to bring up past week's events. I think you ran into me last week.
Where?
To Bristol.
I
You
did?
just turned down. I was sitting there. I was waving at you. Just turned down and drove me down to the inside fence. I was waving back at you. You didn't even wait for me.
I wondered how we wound up down in the apron.
I was there.
I like how
I'm dang spotters.
I know you can't trust them. Here's the deal about when you saw Junior and Carl talking. That was one of them apologies. Junior's like, "I hit you. What, did you let off?" You know, that's how race car drivers apologize. You know, they can't just say I'm sorry. Well, and that's like that was. You know, Kyle got loose, and Jeff said, "Well, that's a lesson. You got to learn from it."
Yeah. So, and I'm sure he will.
Drama.
And I'm sure there was more, too, before that.
I think there might have been some. That's the thing about the TV coverage. We only see the moment. We don't always see what leads up to the moment.
Yeah.
We also know we need to move on. We talked last week about how drivers know if they're fast, what they use for a yardstick. Seems like it ought to be obvious, but speaking of Junior, he tackled that very question in our next edition of the Nextel Fan Scan audio replay. How do you know if you're fast?
It pushes like hell off the corner on the bottom, and then when you go in there on the top, you just go in just hard enough to not hit the fence, and then once you get to the center, you just give it enough gas to where it'll go, but it's pushing the whole time. So you're trying to give it enough gas to not make it push out of the groove. It's hard to really tell whether you're fast or not.
I know how you tell. When it's over, you look on the scoreboard. If you're second, it was pretty fast.
Yeah. They said he was fast on the top side.
But that's hindsight. You like to know as you're going along, how do we make this? He obviously was pretty frustrated at that point.
I don't think anybody was passing him at that time. So
I was pretty sure I was slow. So I'm pretty sure he was fast.
If you're getting passed, you're not fast enough.
And he was passing people and just driving away from him.
I love how, and Mike always seems to shine on this, that's you're not really talking when you're out there racing. That was
that's always under caution.
If you're not first, you're last.
He got the track's attention.
Shake and bake.
Shake and bake. He got the track's attention before the race by suggesting that perhaps they should dig it up and start over again and put more banking in it.
Well, if he said so, they probably will. I'd say they moved into bulldozers this morning.
They tear up a lot. I mean, I thought Vegas was fine. They tear that whole place up. So.
Of course, that's not true because Darlington's still there, and he hates that place.
Well, we only go there once. Well, give him a couple more years, we won't go there at all. Junior!
But you guys, I gather, don't share that opinion that it needs more banking.
I think that you got to have whatever you got. You know, you got to have a little bit of everything. We've seen some great racing at California. 3 wide, cars every which way. People tend to focus on what they see on TV obviously, because a couple 100 million of them watch it. But if you're at the racetrack, there's action everywhere. That's why those grandstands had so many people in them. I tried to get out in the infield Saturday night during the Busch race just to get a look at my car from the inside to see what it looked like, because Ruderman was driving it. I couldn't get in. I couldn't get anywhere near the fence. The infield was packed full of people. So racing's fun, and it needs to be different. We can't have high banks everywhere, and high banks don't fix everything.
Yeah. Well, every track needs it, and like people say, oh, it's the same as Michigan. It's not the same as Michigan. So.
And if you want to see three-wide racing, well, as a matter of fact, take a look at the next clip, because that's exactly what we get. And this is for the lead, Kyle Busch Jr. and Jeff Gordon.
And that was his brother, Kyle's brother, out front trying to get a lap back.
I wonder if that's a lesson.
Junior doing a good job there, keeping Kyle and Gordon apart, maybe, huh?
Did Kyle come back on and say, I'll teach him a lesson, I'm going to pass him?
Which he will do.
Oh!
Retake the lead. Now, what happened here?
I got that for you. That 49 car got sideways. I moved over to keep from running him over, and then the 38 moved over to keep from running me over, and he spun out.
He spun out. David Gilliland having a bad run of luck. The yellow is big. Kane, his teammate Riggs, and Junior all take 2 tires. Gordon has to pit twice to check the left front lug nuts, and so that drops him down.
Yeah, you need all them. You need all them.
You would know about that.
Yeah. How did you drive that car so long that the tire just fell off? I've never. Wasn't it shaking terribly?
No, you know, like Clint lost a tire there at Bristol, and the left rear. You know, I've had loose wheels and that, and it vibrates. But this was like just like a. I told him, I said, the hub or something was going wrong here. I said, it's not like it only vibrate going in the corner. And then
did it make it loose?
Yeah, and I was actually faster. I was like, I said, maybe we need to loosen them up all the time. It's funny how that works.
By one, right?
Yeah.
The net effect of that pit stop sequence is that Kane, with the 2-tire stop, regains the track position that he had lost to the speeding ticket. Gordon, on the other hand, loses track position after running up front all night. And at that point, we take a break and come back and see how this all played out on the other side of the commercial. Key to the deal, of course, the last round of pit stops. It's one of those fuel mileage kinds of things, and part of the excitement, those who did not make a stop, including one of our panel members. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Reviewing the California Speedway action on Inside Nextel Cup. We've seen Casey Kane and Dale Earnhardt Jr. both take 2 tires inside 100 miles to go. Let's find out who's got the best car.
I bet you he does.
Hindsight's always 20/20. Getting back to where I guess he pretty much belonged all night and taking Kyle Busch right with him there.
It's just amazing that team was able to. I mean, I love it when somebody rises to the occasion. That's what they had to do.
I could believe he's on the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, they overcame a lot with that penalty and everything. So.
And plus, they've taken it from 90 points to a workable margin. You know, just a normal race, he can wind up in the top 10.
Which is going to make it pretty dramatic. 11 guys going for 10 spots this weekend. Let's talk about the fact that this now becomes a fuel mileage derby in the late race. And in that regard, it is very similar to Michigan. We see that happen a lot at these 2 tracks. Why these 2 tracks? What is it about these tracks?
There's not that many cautions.
Yeah.
I mean, generally guys run around there, the cars, you know, they slow down so much, guys just don't go down there and start running into each other. Racetrack's wide.
Plus, yeah, you can run so wide so you don't get in trouble as much, and that's where you're able to run long greens.
And the caution came out with, you know, 50-some to go, which is coincidental. That's how many laps it takes you to get to the that's how many laps you can almost get on a tank of fuel. And then there was no debris that was found in those last 50 laps, so they were able to. It was able to be a little dramatic to see who might make it and who might not make it.
And so we pick up the action with 19 to go as we get down to that question of who's going to go how far on the fuel. Here's the aforementioned green flag round of pit stops.
And this is the advantage that you have if you're fast like Casey. He could dictate what happened. You know, he could come in with 20 to go, get 2 tires, get him some gas, and get back on the track. He's not going to lose a lap because he's leading the race, and sort of forces everyone else's hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here, Sorensen was going to try to make it.
Yeah, and he'd come up a little short. Both him and I, we did. So It's a shame.
And there's JJ around the top, also trying to make it.
Yeah, we were just trying to stretch as much as we could. I think we were about a lap and a half short, and you know they didn't come on and tell me that we weren't gonna pit. We were gonna try to go for it. I might have been able to save more, or I'd have burnt more trying. I guess that's a tough way to do it.
We were at Michigan last year, and they said I would run out with 4 to go to save all I could. No, with 2 to go, so to save all I could. And I did, and we ran out with 4 to go. So
So you're not very good at it.
I must be the worst. I mean,
I'd say somebody forgot to carry the 1 on that.
I drive around in my Tundra with that gas mileage thing. Like,
Yeah.
I drive so easy, just pushing the gas to get all the mileage I can get because I love doing that. And I thought, man, I know how to do this. I can save them 2 laps easy. Hell, I'll save them 4 laps if they want them.
Didn't work.
No.
Do you have any hand in that decision, or did they just call you on the radio and say we're staying out?
Well, I mean, if you're a lap and a half, 2 laps short on a racetrack that big, you better come in because you're going to get stuck just like Reed did.
But I mean, the decision to try to make it, is that?
They didn't leave it up to me.
Yeah.
They knew that I didn't have a chance. And you that was the best the car had handled. We got our best mileage right there. We might have been able to come closer than a lap and a half, but
We're just prawns in a chess match.
Prawns?
Yeah.
No surprise that the outcome of the gamble is the Enterprise turning point of the race, because ultimately it decided the outcome. Turned out badly for Sorensen.
Well, he gave it a whirl, huh?
Hey, instead of running, I think he was anywhere from 12th to 15th. I mean, you got a shot to win. So.
Yep.
There goes Blaney.
And Kane will come along here sometime, I believe.
wait, I just took the lead right there.
You did? Congratulations.
No, I didn't. I was already pitted.
There's your eventual win.
He should have tried to block him, man. He was leading on the last lap.
And there is the league leading 5th victory of the year.
Look at that crowd. Beautiful.
5 wins.
As the celebration goes on, a couple of notes. Clint Boyer didn't pit, made it, finished 3rd. DJ didn't pit, made it, finished 10th. Evernham cars were 1, 2, 3 at one point and ended up, I don't have it right.
Pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah. Certainly a
Casey
rebound.
Mears made it too. He ended up 13th, 16th, somewhere in there. So.
Sterling Marlin made it too.
Kind of.
Me.
Yeah.
Kind of. He was coasting.
He made it more better than I did.
See, we know who made it because we were trying, all of us, or you'd like to make
Hey,
it. And
I about hit that darn front straightaway wall 10 times looking up at that scoreboard trying to figure out if anybody's going to pit or. I was running 33rd. I said, come on.
they kept telling me to stay out, and I'm watching that board, and I'm like, I'm not moving up, so this is bad.
not the way we planned this.
They need to put that board on the back straightaway. That front straightaway's curved.
Yeah.
You get to looking at the scoreboard and you scare yourself to death.
Let's go to the Parks Plus winners purse. Kane taking home better than $250,000. Junior 2nd, Gordon 5th. They both move up in the chase, but those points aren't nearly, those positions aren't nearly as important as one might think.
All that, and he's rich.
Yeah.
That's
Not a bad way to go, huh?
No, he's on it.
Further back, 16th for Jeff Burton puts him on the bubble at Richmond.
What's that mean?
He is 10th.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
How many races ago was he 3rd?
Not very many. Was it 2,
Right before
maybe
Michigan.
3?
Yeah,
It's pretty tight through there.
Wow, I didn't know that.
31st for Michael, 36th for Stremming.
Well, you know, we boys worked hard. We did a good job. Everything went good.
We still got a lot to work on.
We got a few things we need to straighten out.
Just a couple tweaks, yeah.
Just tweak here, tweak there. I think we're going to be on it.
We'll get an update and perhaps find out some more about the future plans from Ray Evernham's former driver, Jeremy Mayfield, on the other side of the commercial break. Stick around. We'll see what Jeremy's up to out there in Catawba County. Don't go anywhere.
I was young.
Time now for this week's Z-Max interview. Our guest has been out of the limelight the last couple of weeks, hasn't been at the Cup races, but don't assume that he has not been busy. It is a pleasure to welcome Jeremy Mayfield to Inside Nextel Cup. Jeremy, nice to see you. Welcome to the show. Thanks for giving us your time tonight.
Man, glad to be here. It's pretty cool.
Do I understand that that your racing season is not over, that you've got some sort of an announcement to make tonight?
Well, I don't know if I'd call it an announcement. I might run a truck later on in the year at Atlanta, at least one race anyway, for Billy Blue, but we're just talking right now. Our old buddy, Michael's buddy there, Red Dog, kind of hooked me up with that deal, and I think it's going to work out good for us. So we may run one race anyway.
Have you ever run a truck race, Jeremy?
Yeah, I ran at Charlotte, let's see, a couple years ago for one of Jimmy Smith's trucks, and man, a lot of fun. I love doing it, and you know, can't wait to, you know, if I get to run at Atlanta, I can't wait to do that. So them things are a lot of fun. Them guys race hard.
I know you got some new property out in Catawba County, and this break you've taken from racing, I'm sure you're working harder at the farm than you would be if you were at the track. Is that helping to pass the time?
Oh yeah, that's all I've been doing is just spend a lot of time out here. And of course we had our announcement at Bristol, and I ran Hickory last weekend, a late model race Sunday. And other than that, I've just been working on the farm here, I guess you'd say, and turned into a farm boy. And trying to figure out where your place is so we can come over there and maybe help you out a little bit.
I need it.
I'm telling you.
Hey Jeremy, this is JJ. I know you've been with Evernham for a long time, got in the chase last 2 years. Do you wish that your relationship would have ended differently there, and this way things have been going here?
Yeah, I knew somebody was going to start asking those questions like that.
I just asked you about your farm.
I know, that was a good one, Mike. No, that's I wish it would have, you know, nobody wants to end any kind of relationship, whether it's marriage or anything, or even driving for somebody in that fashion. You know, I wish it would have ended a lot better. And you know, we all, or both of us, intended for it to do that. You know, was to finish the year out and end in a good way. And unfortunately, it turned out I'm sitting in the couch here on the farm. So, but other than that, I mean, it'll work out for everybody. I'm really excited about next year anyway with you know, Bill Davis and Toyota, and I've already run one of Michael's cars in Kentucky a couple weeks ago and ran real well on that. So I'm, you know, that's the good thing about it is I'm really excited about next year. So I'm really pumped up right now.
Hey Jeremy, this is David. By the way, I'm gonna tell you, we miss you at the track there. But
man,
I want to come out and ask you. Ray said that you wrecked his car at Indy. And I know that you didn't do that because you're running 200 miles an hour and you don't want to get hurt. But what do you have to say about that?
Well, I think, you know, you guys know as well as I knew, you're not going to go out there and wreck a car at Indy on purpose and run straight in the wall. And, or I wouldn't anyway. I'm sure you guys wouldn't either. And, you know, it's just part of it. I mean, Ray's a smart guy, got a great race team, going to have a lot of good, you know, runs in the future, as well as his win yesterday. And, you know, if he thinks that, I can't help that. I know that what happened that day was strictly an accident, and it's pretty bad. You got to defend yourself and say, man, you know, I didn't wreck the car on purpose, when we all know that. We all know better than that. But you know, it was just going to happen. I'm sure he, you know, he'd already signed Elliott and needed a, you know, way to go ahead and get their year started. And I just wish he hadn't, you know, ended this way or said all that stuff anyway. But you know, life goes on.
And maybe the good news is that that relationship is over contractually as well as otherwise, which means that you're free to do whatever you want to do the rest of the year. And the question out of that is, how are you able to work with Bill Davis Racing in preparation for Daytona 07, doing things that you might not have otherwise been able to do?
Right. That's the good thing about it, Dave, is we're going to be able to test, and hopefully, you know, in the next couple of weeks, really start testing a lot. And hopefully it'll help all the Toyota teams. And, you know, if I can go off and test, you know, whether it's Michael's cars or our cars at Bill Davis Racing or whatever, you know, just to help the whole Toyota team, you know, I'm willing to do that, and they know that, and that's probably what's going to end up happening is that, you know, we'll be testing every week in Kentucky or Nashville or something like that, you know, just trying to get a handle on the Toyota and figure out what we're going to need for next year. So I think it's going to help out a lot.
Jeremy, we very much appreciate your time tonight. Good luck with that. Good luck with the late model racing. Good luck with the truck deal if it happens. We need a commercial break. We'll do that and come back on the other side as Inside Nextel Cup continues. We'll have a review of those all-important Nextel Cup points headed down to Richmond. And it was an all-Casey weekend. Busch highlights, including that Snuggle uniform, coming up.
Just a maximum point kind of day will help solidify your position for the chase of 2006.
Can he race his way into the chase?
All the focus, of course, on the top 10 in points. A lot of movement within the top 10. Only two guys maintaining their position.
So really, you could go pretty easily from 6th to 11th and miss the chase at Richmond if things don't go well. Is that what y'all see there?
Easy.
Yeah.
And here's the battle for 10th to put that further into perspective. You basically have 11 guys going for 10 spots, barring a tie.
Wow. Look at there, because I guess you can go all the way from 4th to 11th if things didn't go well.
Could be pretty exciting night next Saturday.
Those people will have to think about this one a lot this week.
And of course, the guy who's thinking most about it is Kane, who did everything he could this weekend to make it work, gain maximum points. Let's take a look at the owner points. Michael and David both in there fighting for the 35th spot, the last guaranteed starting spot.
And if you think about this, I'm 211 out of 35th. I've got 11 races to make that up. This isn't one race and you're out. You know, we've got 11 races to make up 211 points. That's only 20 points a race. So it's very, very reasonable to think that anything can happen right there. And I know David and all the teams in that area right there are really thinking about it.
And with that, we'll move on and talk about the Busch race. Again, it was Casey Kane who won it. Clint Boyer on the pole. And they'll go 3 wide right off the bat, battling for the lead.
Kyle Busch looked like he pretty much won the lead, and Kevin Harvick said, well, you're going to have to do a little bit more than that to get it.
What if he got on the radio and told him that was a lesson?
I don't know. Uh-oh, what happened to this cat?
Fell for the pod. He appears to have spun his race car.
It's over for TV time.
Debris on the grill of the 9. They make a pit stop, get it cleaned up.
What's that on the hood? What's that on the hood?
That's your teddy bear.
Snuggle.
There
you go.
Aforementioned debris.
Hot dog wrapper, bubble gum.
There wasn't a lot of trash on Sunday.
Yep, it always is there. And Michigan, you notice that?
Yeah.
How about that? 6 wide. That's on board with Kenny Wallace on a restart.
Restarts are crazy, aren't they?
Okay, J.J. Yaley trying to go around Tracy up high.
Yeah, it was a bad idea. And left rear tire's going flat right now.
When did you figure it out?
Right about there. And then I was like, oh, better stop. And then, uh-oh.
Oh.
Yeah. And then
it actually come off, didn't it?
Now, you see?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I bumped into you, but we didn't crash.
No, that was a lot worse. That was a bad day.
That's a pretty hard hit, too. I mean, or at least it looks from the damage to the car.
No, it was. My ribs are a little sore. It was, and that was our best mile and a half, 2 miles.
Who was behind you?
Reagan, David Reagan, and then Tracy.
He had nowhere to go.
No.
Lap 95, Kane in the pits. We'll restart the race 28th.
95.
I really thought Paul Menard was going to win.
He's up to 13th with 40 to go.
In the backup car there.
We'll get to Menard in a minute.
How'd he wreck?
I just spun making a qualifying run practice.
Ooh. 21 to go. Kenseth and Mark Martin pitting.
That was a heat right there. 6 car was on it.
It was.
And up front, the 2 guys stretching fuel. The aforementioned Paul Menard and Casey Kane. And they're going for it. And are they both going to make it? Well, if they do, it's going to be a heck of a finish. Unfortunately, they don't.
I like it when you're trying to conserve gas, but you're trying to beat a guy.
Yeah.
Save all you can, but hurry up. Come on now, give me some better instruction than that.
Go ahead and pass that guy. That was Menard running out of fuel. And Casey Kane making it to the checkered flag to sweep the weekend in California. Kenseth did it last week, winning Busch and Cup, and Casey follows suit this week. And as you requested, Michael, there's the driving seat.
Paul still ended up with a good finish there. Forward.
Yeah, he posted home for it.
Jay Stoddard. That's the best finish they've had all year long.
Yeah, and Jay Stoddard, top 10. He runs good in that 01 car.
I think he had a strong motor. He was driving by me all day long. I'd pass him the corner, and he'd drive back by me.
Yeah, he did that to me at Michigan.
Not very much fun, is it?
And then he got on the chassis dyno and outbeat me by like 25 horsepower. So I said, no wonder he was doing that. I thought it was aerodynamics.
Kevin Harvick leading now by 567 points, so maybe the good news for the Busch regulars, as they're sometimes called, is that he said this week he will not do the entire season. Next year he'll only run the companion races.
You beat me by 27.
And with that, we're going to take a commercial break. Last week there was a spirited debate here on the show about this incident.
Oh!
Tonight we'll get the perspective of the driver involved. I bet you knew that was coming, didn't you? Stick around, we'll be right back.
Cup is presented by Nextel. Get closer to the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series with Nextel only from Sprint. Brought to you in part by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Call 1-800-RENT-A-CAR. Pick Enterprise, we'll pick you up. And by Parts Plus, America's family of auto parts stores and service centers.
For the 5th time this year, the Picture of the Week stars Casey Kane. If you'd like to get the picture, go to the Inside Nextel Cup page at speedtv.com. Send us an email with the word picture on the subject line, and you'll be in the running, and only one email per email address, please. All right, last week we had a very spirited debate here on the television show about this piece of video from David Stremming's onboard. Ouch!
Well, you see the guy.
What was it, Vicker? Wait a minute. What was it Vicker said?
Vicker said nobody deserves to get hit on pit road except for maybe this guy.
It's just
so, David, your side of this.
You know, they weren't even gassing the car, and a guy's backing up in my pit stall, and I'm like, what's going on here? I got to go.
The only defense I have for you is if you hadn't run over him, he would have probably backed into you and fell over.
Yeah, he probably would have.
So he was going down either way. He just didn't know it.
You know what the bad thing is? Reed ended up hitting that same guy. I think it was back at Charlotte or something. Did the same thing. He backs up.
Wow.
And it turns out this is a guy that you know. It's not just some
he actually,
faceless character.
when I was running in the Busch Series, he drove the truck, the hauler, and that. So he come up to me this week. He's like, you know, hey, you hit me. And I was like, well, I didn't mean to. You backed in my car.
You didn't mean to.
Now, Michael, you're being mean to
Well,
her.
I just tapped him. So. I already cut a tire at Bristol, and it was one of them days. So
you knew it was time to go.
You know,
made good TV.
Stuff's gonna happen. We laughed our butts off last week.
We had a lot of fun with it. We really appreciate it. 15 seconds left. Anybody want the last word?
I don't. I'm tired.
Yeah, you guys worked hard and then had the overnight. We appreciate y'all being here.
Thank you.
David Stremming, J.J. Yaley, Michael Waltrip. I'm Dave Despain. We'll see you next week with another edition of Inside Nextel Cup. We'll be talking about who made the chase.